Welcome back to the Late Late Show. We're here with Jewel, and you know what I was going to ask you about? When you were living, you know, there's sort of this thing that's been made. You were living in a car, and you were struggling, and you're working in coffee houses. Was there any romance in that struggle? Was there anything that was pleasing, or was it all just struggle?
I'm in love with a fight.
With a fight?
You know, everybody is. Not a fight, but the good fight.
Right.
You know, once you start working for yourself, you know, working for bosses where you get sexually harassed and we're waitressing, no, it wasn't a good fight.
I know, that used to happen to me
I can tell.
Constantly.
But when it was in my car and it came down to, like, I'm going to die or do something I love because I can no longer face consciousness every day doing something that doesn't fill me with any passion. Because people shouldn't compromise their pride and health just to have roofs over their heads. When I get to that point where you're willing to die for it, nothing else matters. It's very hard to starve.
Yeah, I don't think most people look at it in terms of that. I think they don't... when people try and get a roof over their head or things like that, it's not so much about compromising their integrity as much as it is about just protecting their basic needs, you know,
no,
food,
but that does
water.
compromise your integrity.
You think?
It does compromise your pride.
So you would advocate for people who have jobs they don't like to get rid of that, to get rid of the debt, get in a car and drive and see what they really want to do.
I think each person knows what's good for them. I don't think you have to be drastic. But it's finding where's passion in your life. We can't live without dreams. We are spiritual people. It's undeniable. You know what I mean? And we can't live without that. It's really what feeds us, and we shouldn't spend our energy for worrying about survival. We should worry more about, we're creative human beings. We create cures for diseases, we create arts, we move and change people, and we kill people. You know what I mean?
And yet then, how do you explain the TV show Wheel of Fortune?
Thoughtlessness.
If we are such creative human beings. No, I think it's the kind of thought that I think my father never would have occurred to him. I think we're a lucky generation in that our parents came here, or the parents before them, and they put us in a situation where we can actually think like that. I think, you know, if my grandfather driving a cab around Brooklyn ever stopped and went, "This is not my dream. I want Yiddish theater," you know, that...
But it's because people did do that in generation, like Martin Luther King's, that got out and realized, my hands manifest thought. I'm going to be careful what I think. I'm going to tell people to be careful what they think. That's what gets us out. That's what really changes things. You know, that's really amazing. And
but
it's true, but when I hear kids being apathetic about our lives now, I say, no, it's actually exciting. We have more at our disposal than ever before.
Right.
And it is exciting.
But I always feel like we can't have a society just filled with dreamers and people of creativity, because you know what? You need somebody to clean up after you've been dreaming.
Cynicism isn't smarter, it's only safer.
Sorry?
You know what I mean? Cynicism isn't smarter, it's only safer. There's nothing fluffy about optimism.
Where's my pen? Jeez.
Shut up.
Wait, cynicism isn't smart. It's only, I don't mean that cynically. I mean that actually just pragmatically. I mean it more in pragmatically.
But people have an idea that optimism is fluffy, like you're going to believe people like walking around in hippie clothing in utopia. No, it's very practical. It's just a matter of people being more fulfilled and more whole as human beings. Going, I know my feelings. I know what I'm talking about. I know how to relate to you without hurting you. No, it's all very practical. It'll make the world run better, you know. It's not fluffiness.
I'm seeing an infomercial and you in Hawaii with a big crowd.
With a hair care commercial.
Exactly. MTV, once they started really running your videos and then they took off, was that mind-boggling to find how quickly life changed? The power of MTV.
Yeah. What's interesting to see how the perception of you changes.
Mm-hmm. The perception in terms of people that were intimates or people of just the public?
The public. I think fame isn't really experienced by the person who's famous. It's experienced by the fans more. It's experienced by the people who perceive you. That's how it seems. I'm the same. And people perceive you now with a new light, with new eyes. But it is an incredibly huge medium. It's stunning. Right.
Did you find that people that you knew before then wanted to snipe at you? Was there an envious nature to it in any way?
I guess there's always that. You know, there's always in your life the 3 girls in high school that hate you and the one that likes you.
Right. And oh, what sweet vindication it is to go back.
Oh, payback's beautiful.
Have you had a situation, have you been back to, let's say, one of the bars in sort of a soul-searching trip, and just to go back to where it all began and what all became of it?
I've never been far from it. You know, I travel with things that remind me of where I'm from. I mean, it's because I don't want people to feel alone. You know, I want to live my dream and for people to remember theirs.
What do you travel with that reminds you of where you're from?
Eagle feathers. You know, I've been able to travel with dirt, actually. You know, it sounds
with dirt?
Silly, but I like this. It just feels like...
Dirt from Alaska?
Yeah. Candles, you know, just things to make your hotel room a little more
I'm the same way. Travel with a 6-pack of champagne wherever I go to remind me of Trenton, New Jersey. It's our finest export, as it goes. All right, one last thing before we go, and you know what, we don't even have to do this, but they kept telling me that you yodel, and it's an amazing thing, and I don't even know what it is, really, except in like the the commercials. Would you...
Did you like Germany?
Did I like Germany? I've never been to Germany.
It looked guilty to me. You know, I kept going there. I'm like, God, this place looks guilty. It's all I
you've been there?
about.
See, I've never been there. I studied German for 4 years.
It was weird.
Just to protect my people in case anything ever happened again. But never went there. Have no desire to go there. Get enough beer and bratwurst here in America.
Yeah, it was wild. Yodeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
sexy, isn't it?
Does that take a really long time to master?
It does take a long time. It's out of vocal control. It takes a very neurotic 6-year-old is what it does.
You know what I can imagine, though? In concert, it being so unusual and unique, especially for modern music fans, it must bring the house down.
Who thought it was so cool?
I say they go crazy for it. Well, that's very nice. We got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll say goodnight and stay with us. We'll be right back.
Trains last so long, even after you're gone.
Sample. Welcome back to the Late Late Show. Come Monday, Tom Snyder will be back in the chair, and they'll lose the host blister cushion I've been sitting all week because he's a larger man than I. And also on the show Monday, Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn, via satellite, Green Bay Packer Reggie White, and author Robert Olin Butler. And as always, Steve Mason on the radio show, 1-800-890-9990. Thank you very much for watching me this week. I very much appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Jewel, thanks very much for being here.
My pleasure.
And continued success. Where are you going next after this? You going on tour?
February 18th, I start touring.
And
again.
where are you going to be at?
All over, U.S.
All over the United States. No more Europe for this time. You'll be back here for a little bit.
I'll be here for a couple, 6 weeks.
Very nice. Thank you. Thanks very much for watching. See you later.
It's coming to me. Yeah, it's coming to me.
These foolish games are tearing me apart. Your thoughtless words are breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart.
Now here's one of Melissa's classics, I Want to Come Over. Now here's a first for you. Mariah Carey released her first single back in 1990, and it went all the way to #1. But that's not the first. The real first is that the next 4 singles she released repeated the feat, setting a record that has yet to be broken by anyone, man, woman, child, or chipmunk. Since breaking worldwide sales records wasn't enough for Mariah, in the fall of 1995, she took it upon herself to try her hand at something new. Like Cyndi Lauper and photographer Randy St. Nicholas, Mariah has joined the ranks of female video directors.
I know what I want, and I know what I want it to look like, and I really have...
While she's normally her own worst critic, she says she was happy with the results of her directorial debut. See for yourself, here's Fantasy. Stay close to VH1. We'll give you one reason. The woman whose fast car drove her into the international spotlight.
No, I mean, I think I've been fortunate enough to work with people who...
Elixers, this groundbreaking artist and one of my favorites, built on the legacy of artists like Odetta and Joan Armatrading, and added a bit of a Bob Dylan twist. Tracy Chapman's self-titled debut album went to the top of the charts back in 1988 and led to her invitation to perform at Nelson Mandela's 70th birthday tribute that summer. After that performance, Chapman stopped opening for acts like 10,000 Maniacs and started headlining. Her latest album, New Beginning, is just that, a new producer, a new band, and a return trip to the spotlight. We've got her massive hit, Fast Car, in just a few, but first, check out her latest triumph, Give Me One Reason. First, Joan gets judged on open mic night. Want to know what happens when you take a film school major and give her a little alcohol? A whole career. Joan Osborne was an NYU film school major when a friend coaxed her up on stage at a downtown bar one night. With the help of a few drinks, she got up, sang Billie Holiday's God Bless the Child, and discovered that she kind of liked it up there. She soon became a regular on the New York club scene, which ultimately led her to record her debut album, Relish. Here's the hit that made Joan Osborne a controversial household name, One of Us. To look at the feminine side of that feminine side.
Sexuality and sensuality are so...
One of the very first artists to realize the power of video, Madonna has used it to entertain, amuse, and challenge her fans and critics alike. Her frank sexuality has garnered her rants and raves from the press, love and hatred from her public, and praise and condemnation from feminists across the country. One thing's clear about Madonna Louise Ciccone. She never has any hesitation to express herself.
Come on, girl.
More from the queen of the headlines coming up after the break. Cultural icon Madonna, who decided that topping charts, playing on Broadway, making movies, and publishing books just wasn't enough to keep a good woman happy. On October 14th, 1996, Madonna gave birth to a daughter, Lourdes Maria Ciccone Leone, who has already been listed on Entertainment Weekly's 101 Most Powerful People in Entertainment as number 101.5. Back in 1989, she convinced photographer Herb Ritz to direct his very first music video. Check out the results with Cherish. Welcome back to VH1's Women First. I'm Jewel. When Toni Braxton was growing up, her father, a minister, wouldn't let her play the kind of music that she now makes her career out of. But you can't keep a good woman down. Her father ultimately relented, and these days he says that in church he prays for her albums to climb the charts. Toni doesn't seem to need the help. Her album, Secrets, is filled with the same kind of sultry, sad R&B style songs that made her famous. Songs, she says, that women can relate to. The idea for the next video comes from A Star Is Born. Here's Unbreak My Heart. Famous blueswoman slash heroine slash goddess, in my eyes, is on the way, Bonnie Raitt.
It was relatively easy to start out when I did.
Bonnie Raitt was playing, writing, and touring for decades before taking that giant Fender leap for womankind. At 20, she was playing slide guitar for blues greats like Buddy Guy, Junior Wells, and Sippy Wallace. At 40, with the release of her Nick of Time album, she became a crossover artist with a slew of Grammys to her name. Luck of the Draw became the album to own in 1991 and opened the doors for other guitarists, singers, and songwriters. Here's one of Bonnie's biggest hits, Something to Talk About. There's more Women First coming your way. With Donnie Marie as the lead singer's idea of what being in a band would be like, it's not surprising that No Doubt nearly called it quits after recording 2 albums without so much as a peep from the music industry. But now there's no doubt that the band is getting raves, as Gwen Stefani's vocals are playing over radio airwaves throughout the country. She says the lyrics to this next song were rewritten 3 times, but they obviously finally got it right. Here's Don't Speak. Friends, wraps up our Women First special. You know, women have always been and always will be a force to be reckoned with and listened to. Women have made names for themselves based on their talent, drive, and sheer musicianship, despite the obstacles traditionally thrown in the way of talent, drive, and musicianship. Thanks for watching.